other culture documentaries from other countries. So it's the only one that we know. And so I'm very grateful to NCCA that they continue to support my advocacy, and I'm grateful to ANC for being the platform to air this, and for the very committed staff who've been helping us. And I just realized that we've been doing it for 4 years, October of 2018. And it's government funded, aired on private station, replayed many times, and it's one show that many people have told me, oh, we keep on watching, and then we saw this, we saw that, people in the provinces, they email, they write, they text, and those who are seniors or elderly would ask for, wala ka bang CD? CD pa ang tinatanong. Wala ka bang CD? So ako naman kay Estelle CD culture. Buti hindi Yumatic ang hiningi ko, no? Pero ganun. Kaya gusto ko sabihin, give me na all the online platform. But perhaps those asking me for CDs, and the others, would you believe, they even rush home to watch TV. Meron pa palang ganun. So, yung mga lumang style na uuwi para panood. Tapos, ay, sayang, na-miss ko yung DAYAW mo. Ay, Tita Ethel is here. Halika, let's go. Tita Ethel, hindi ko kinabahan. Ayan pala.
Alright, let's start. Good afternoon, everybody.
Akala ko yun na yun. Sige.
Okay lang, ma'am, start na tayo?
Start na. Super
Alright. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay.
I was just asking really, are all the raw materials, I think like a producer, are all the raw materials stored or archived? Because going to Tawi-Tawi, going to the remote areas, when you cross rivers and mountains to document, and never mind the physical tiredness, but the gamaba or the Manlilika ng Bayan awardees who have since passed on to the next life can no longer be interviewed again. And how much time do we have? We only have 30 minutes, but we've done hours and hours of documentation and interview. So this really is a legacy that we're giving the Filipino people. And I hope and I know that ABS has a good archiving library. Si Dory pa ba ang librarian dito? Si Dory nung panahon namin. Kasi ganyan na din ako nung 86 when I was executive producer of Pep Talk. And Tita Chris and Tita Ethel would know. I mean, among all of you, I think silang dalawang alam. I would always ask, ang Pep Talk, grabe ang documentation, ha? Maakit kami ng bundok. Ang inside story, ha? Yung mga scoop at yung mga... So, lahat ba ng raw? Ayan ang tanong ko. Tinatago nyo na sa library natin. It used to be Dory, the ABS librarian. And the stories I used to do for World Tonight. So, I don't know. So, I hope that all of you, including the bloggers, including the millennials who are here, would be interested in DAYAW. And we'll never run out of episodes of topics because documenting all our living traditions is endless. And we're just talking about living traditions. What about languages? What about, there's so much. Rituals, all of that. So let's not be too formal. You can ask me any question. Maybe, Nadja, would you like to sit with me? And who's representing the NCCA? Yeah, okay. It documents our rituals. It documents even our mountains, our rivers, and our lakes. It documents our scripts and our writing. It documents our architecture. It documents the lives of our indigenous people. It documents the struggles, the pains, the beauty, the nature, the vastness, the wealth, the richness of our culture. So this is a never-ending documentation of what the Philippines is all about. It's really a gift to the Filipino people. And so I am certain that this will go beyond this generation and ours and the coming generations. And we are privileged to have a media entity as a partner, which I hope documents it and keeps all the raw materials on archive. We're fortunate that there is a viewership. The fact that it's still airing and that there's continued support from government. So when former Chair Felipe De Leon, Chair June and I talked about it, because the word DAYAW emanates from a DAYAW program of NCCA, right? You have a DAYAW festival every year. But it's a festival that happens once a year. And I said, why not use that as a peg, but to document everything about the Philippines? And he was so excited, but how do you do it? I said, no, I'm a child of television and I've been doing this for so long, but this time, let's look at Philippine culture and traditions. And so that's how it was born. So that's my long answer to your brief question.
That's all right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Ako ba tinatanong niyo o si Miss Dayaw? Ay, sorry. Ano na kapag si Tita Ethel excited. Sa mga hindi nakakaalam, kami po ni Tita Ethel, pep talk pa lang, nandiyan na siya. Walang may alam na ng pep talk sa inyo. 1986. Sino ang nanood na ng pep talk noong 1986 maliban kay Crispina Belen at kay Ethel Ramos? Sino sa mga bloggers, reporters, nag-cover, o maski mga nandito? Wala. Hindi ko kaedad si Tita Chris. Hindi ko rin kaedad si Tita Ethel. Pero kino-cover na nila ako noon. So, I'm disappointed nobody knows pep talk. Oh, so, why don't you put it online? I allow you. I mean, I was the producer, the host. Put it there. Because pep talk is as rich as DAYAW. And we cross rivers to get stories. See? So, I haven't answered the question. Tawag Tita Ethel. Okay. So, nung panahon yon, puro kami hard copy. Yung mga press release ko, ako nagtatype at nandyan sa brown envelope. Tapos nandyan si Ricky Lo, si Ethel Ramos, Crispina Belen, Aisa Red, si sa Bulletin, Star, Malaya, si Mario Bautista, Mario Hernando, memoriado ko. Ako nagtatay, ako nagkakabit ng mga pangalan. Oh, ganyan tayo. Anyway, so what is the question? Sorry.
Mga millennials na yun.
Yung mga millennials. Tanong natin yung mga millennials. You know, okay. Millennials are interested in everything that's happening. And this is something new to them because obviously all of us were not born when the indigenous peoples had their culture. So I guess, and the fact that we receive a lot of favorable feedback online means we're being watched by people from all walks of life and all generations. And I think if you upload the shows of the 80s, well, I'm only responsible for my shows, Pep Talk and Inside Story. I am certain the millennials will enjoy it. Because when I lectured in the ABS-CBN, is it University, natutuwa ako, the reporters, not so young, 30s, 40s, they were young, there were new ones, there were those. And they were asking me about my interview, let's say, with Nelson Mandela. So they would search it online. My hair was so short, that was in the 90s. That's not DAYAW, it's not Pep Talk, it was Inside Story. And then I had to relate to them how I got the exclusive interview with the President of South Africa when he came to the Philippines. So I am certain, I cannot speak for the millennials. I would like to hear from a millennial who's covering or who's present here. You said you were 1 year old. Are you with the media? Blogger. Ayan. What is your name, please? Have you seen DAYAW? Have you watched it?
Snippets of it.
Snippets, okay. If you don't like it, you can say so. With me, I'll accept anything. I just want to know, answer the question of Tita Ethel. What do you think of DAYAW? And if you don't think about it in any way, that's fine. I just really want to know because I cannot answer for the millennials.
I think
Right.
the appeal would be for the students because they will be able to relate on whatever they learn in school and what they will see. I mean,
Are you considered a millennial? You're still a millennial?
I am.
Okay, good. Okay. So it's for the students and for millennials alike, right?
Yeah. I mean, particularly that market, I think the students.
And when you say students, it's millions of them. Yes,
Yeah.
that's great. So what else? Pang estudyante lang ba? Hindi ka na estudyante, ibig sabihin ayaw mo?
even among my age bracket, the 20s and 30s, because a lot of people are into traveling now. I mean, and your show entails a lot of travel, so I think that's also very appealing for those who are interested in seeing what's out there, but they cannot travel. So they get to travel through you.
That's true. It's really domestic travel. Oh, look at Tony. You know, dapat interview itong batang to eh. Si Tony Aguilar. Ilan ng ilog at karagatan ang tinawid at ilang bundok ang inaakyat. Sino ating magagaling mga cameraman? Amazing. They're the heroes behind the show. I could not do it anymore now. I used to do it when I was in Pep Talk Inside Story, but when I retired from ABS in 98, I stopped doing it. But they're able to do it now. Would you believe I still preview DAYAW? I still correct the scripts with Estelle. Hindi na ako producer eh. Noon in my Senate office, we would preview it. And I'd have corrections, Sareli ha. So I can't shake it off. So, thank you very much for that. So it's for students. Ito, my answer to your question, I have to consult a millennial because I don't want to be presumptuous. It's educational. And education spans, it's not just for students, it's for everybody. And second, because people love to travel, they love to trek, they love to go to rural areas, they like going to the not so familiar places, and it gives you free travel where it's difficult, expensive, or unreachable. Yeah. So DAYAW is for everybody. And for those who can't cross rivers or climb mountains or meet the Iraynon Bukidnon or the Mangyans or the Magtisalog or the Ivatans or the, I can go on and on, then here you come up close and personal with the 15 million Filipinos who are indigenous peoples.
Tribal groups embrace their culture. How do you think these bearers of culture pass on their skills and knowledge to their children?
Great question. Mentoring and all our Gamaba awardees or the Malilika ng Bayan awardees are called such and awarded because they pass on what they know. I hope that we will find it in our hearts to be Gamabas, and I hope that our indigenous communities would have more of these people who would pass on the age-old tradition of weaving, the age-old tradition of doing crafts. But not just that, but even in the spoken language, in the written form, also in terms of the ritual. So your question is, how do we ensure that the young actually learn what their forebears know? That's why we're documenting it. That's why, apart from documentation, we have schools of living tradition, not just to document for television or for online, for the digital media, but also empowering, giving assistance, giving financial assistance, technical assistance to communities so that they could have the tools, the resources to teach their children and their communities what they know before they pass on to the next life. So DAYAW and documentation on television and online is just really a speck in the whole spectrum of work we do. Let's say this USB ang laman ito. This is the USB of our shows, and we're all giving it to you. This is, for example, a hard copy of Everyday Culture, a book that I also supported, I cost to publish with Karina Bolasco, which are, again, documentation of schools of living tradition, but very limited because how much can you put in a book? But aside from documenting it on USB, documenting it, hard copy book, documenting it for DAYAW TV, we have actual schools of living tradition from Cordillera to Autonomous Region. As I speak now, NCCA and its NGO partners actually are teaching, passing on, and mentoring traditions of our indigenous people.
Yung press con proper. I was listening to you talk about the show, ma'am. And parang I sense a bit of frustration na not enough people are watching it. Not enough. It's not reaching the audience it deserves. Did I sense that correctly?
Well, I'm not sure because I don't see ratings anymore. Nung panahon namin, we would look at ratings. How do you monitor now? May ratings ba ang ANC? Wala eh. I'm not sure eh. So, well, first because we're on ANC. Number two, kasi ang milyo ko, hindi ko na malalaman, ANC, ABS, online na lahat ngayon eh. So, I would not know. I'm not frustrated that it's not viewed as much because I'm not even sure how much it is viewed. All I know is that there's been such great favorable feedback. But you're correct, it could be known better. Maybe put it in IG stories, maybe it's a bigger platform. I'm not sure. I'm not with the generation that our blogger is from. Perhaps you could help us. We could sit down between NCCA and ABS, since we have so much content for 4 years, how we can use that raw material for a shorter, briefer content on other platforms that could reach a wider audience. That's for the million?
Yeah.
Wow!
Thank you, ma'am.
7 million followers?
Views po.
Views?
300K followers.
Wow, 7 million views. What do you write? 7 million views, ang galing. So just for the sake of answering, I want to be truthful. I know Sarah. Yeah, of course.
You want Sarah, ma'am?
Why not Sarah Geronimo? Oh, sige, I'm prompted by Estelle. Yeah.
And my second question, ma'am, what to expect on the 7th season of DAYAW? And if given a chance po to choose a topic or you want to na i-relate dun sa inyong DAYAW show, ano po yung gusto niyo pa pong ipalabas?
Ayan. Ito. The topic for season 7 are bearers of culture. Ito yung mga tinatawag na schools of living tradition, just for everybody's knowledge and education. Itong mga schools of living tradition, hindi to DepEd school. These are not museums. These are not structures. Could be in a cave. It could be in a rural area with no walls. But these are communities that have traditions, and there are mentors, culture bearers, who teach the communities. So yan ang aming i-feature. So itong mga schools of living tradition, episode 1, Dumagat. Lapit lang sa Bulacan. Viewers will meet the Dumagats of Bulacan, and then the youths are taught about the language of leaves. So interesting. And the deeper aspects of music and dance. So we take the Dumagats for granted, and they're just here, San Jose del Monte or nearby, whether housing projects, etc. It would be interesting to see this. Second, the Atis of Negros Occidental. You know, the Atis are everywhere. They're the Aitas of Zambales. My first episode in Pep Talk in 86 are the Aitas of Zambales. But these are the Atis of Negros Oc. So, the Atis, or Aitas as we call them in Luzon, as you know, they may be of the same indigenous group, but they're called differently in different languages, in different island groups. So, ang kanilang weaving, ang kanilang livelihood. Episode 3, oh, how interesting. The farthest school, Balut Island. Wow, nagpunta sila. Tumawid ng ilang oras. 8 hours by boat. Tony ko dapat magkwento eh. Sino ang nasa Balut Island? Next time ang ating press con sa Balut Island. Yan. Ang mga belaan at yung sangir tradition in performing arts. So hindi lang weaving ito, mat weaving, pati pagluto nila, no? Culinary, masarap. Interesting. Okay. So, what was Balut? This is in Davao Oc, right? Sa dulo na. A take-off is Davao Oc or Sarangani? In between, okay. So, Balut Island, I've been around the country several times over, but in Balut Island, I don't think I've been there. So, from Jensan, that's where they took the boat ride. Correct? But this is near Sarangani and
Davao Occidental.
The other topics are the gamabas. Okay, who are the gamabas? I'm sure all of you who write entertainment would know our national artists. But our indigenous persons have their own national artists. And these are the Manlilikha ng Bayan awardees, or called the gamabas. We're featuring, sinong gababang ating i-feature? Oh, the weaver from Sarangani, Estelita Bantilan. She's also a healer and a medium. And we have Yabing Dulo from Southcott, and the Yakan traditional artist Uwang Ahadas, and weaver Ambalang Ausalin of Basilan. So we're featuring the Gamaba awardees. You know, I'd like to take all of you. This won't be a press con. I'll just take you around the Gamaba Gallery, which I helped. I didn't curate it. It was Dr. Ana Labrador at the National Museum, but we helped conceptualize it. First, we have the Hibla Textile Gallery. And then we have the Baybayin, the first Philippine script. And then we have the Gamaba Gallery in the National Museum. I'd like to take all of you there and do Facebook Live and do a blog, whichever. And there in the middle of the museum. And you see the Gamabas come to life. Not that it's nice that we have a press con here, but perhaps next time, or next, before Christmas, or in January, after the Christmas season, di ba ang ganda? Then we can do live on any platform you want. How interesting. Now, our last episode, no, that's already 4, 5, 6, 6 na yun. So, hindi ba interesting? You go to the farthest island, Balut, and you taste their food via the video you watch. Then you have the Gamabas I mentioned. You don't just see their weaves, you also see how they live. And then the Dumagats were just nearby. And remember, this is just season 7. Remember seasons 1 to 6 of 6 shows each that we've shown. And for those of you, and many of you have not watched it, so I urge ANC to put it on all platforms, whether Facebook or where are you? Where can we find it? Facebook and YouTube, and promote it perhaps. So we need you. I want DAYAW to be seen 7 million times. 7 million? By 7 million viewers. I need you. Ang galing mo. So, perhaps you're 10 million. Ilan ka eh? Ilan? Yeah. Oh, sino pa yan? Tuturuan nyo kami. Kasi, panahon ako ng... Mas Jing Reyes. Panahon ako ng beta kami. Kasi Jing. Jing, where are you? Jing Reyes is here? Where is Jing? I didn't acknowledge her. Why didn't you tell me? She's been sitting here?
Hiding, ma'am. Okay lang. I was going to acknowledge after po the press.
I'm sorry, been talking. Jing, come here. Panoon kami ng beta kami. Kaya hindi kami 7 million. No, Opo, when I was with Jing, we were the most awarded and the highest rating. Ang ratings kasi namin, papel hard copy pa. Uy, kami ni Angelo ni Jing, highest rating tayo. World Tonight, unbeatable. Yabang namin nun. May pagmamalaki naman. When I left ABS in 98, World Tonight was sobrang buwebenta. Overload kami, kaya palaging overtime ng commercials. Highest rating newscast.
Thank you, ma'am.
Matagal na yun. Wala kaming 7 million views. Tulungan mo ako?
Yeah, we're looking forward to that, ma'am. Thank you po. Congratulations.
Yeah,